All right, what's good? What's good? Had to get everything in focus. You know me. Cases with the most insane twists you've ever heard. Look, dog, when y'all was first throwing this at me, because a few of y'all threw this at me. Not this particular number though, because I saw it was like a few numbers. But either way it go, when I read that title, I was like, yo, this is about to be hella crazy because there's hella these cases plural. We got a lot of them, but they're the ones with insane twists. Those type of stories are always like legit scary as hell because you will go a full story just thinking like, oh my gosh, it's this person, it's that person, this person, and then the twist like, nope, it was your ass. Like, damn.
What is up, EWU crew? Today we are taking a look at 3 more cases that have unexpected or shocking twists. Some of these stories are so bizarre, you just might not believe they are real, but they are all true. Let's get into it. In today's first case, the world of fantasy on the internet collided dramatically with reality. It is the case of a tragic love triangle and the lengths that people will go to for attention and revenge. In May 2005, 46-year-old Thomas Montgomery, a married father with 2 children, found a fantasy escape within the chat room of the popular gaming site Pogo. Though the site was aimed for the use of teenagers, it was perfect for Thomas. Exploiting the anonymity of the internet, he created a profile with the name Marine Sniper, where he pretended to be a young Iraq-bound Marine. Thomas chose the handle as a callback to the 6 years he had served in the military when he was younger. Though his name suggested he was a sniper during that time, he never actually trained as one, furthering the fantasy element of his online profile. At first, the chat room was a place of escapism for Thomas, a place for him to feel young and robust. But soon, one of the players on the site, by the handle of Tall Hot Blonde, caught his attention. The two started chatting, and Tall Hot Blonde told him that her real name was Jessie, and that she was 18. Jessie told him she was from West Virginia, and that she was a senior in high school who played softball.
Hey, even I don't know where you at. Even though 18 legal where you at, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Hey, the internet is legit. The internet is legit grabbing them. We know how this work. I'm not about to do hella talking right here. But you legit can be anybody. You can be whoever you want on the internet. Basically, what I'm saying. We all know this story. We all know this can legit turn to a horror story real quick. We ain't gonna do too much talking.
Told him she was from West Virginia, and that she was a senior in high school who played softball. Thomas responded by telling her that he went by Tommy, and that he was also 18. Believing that they would never meet in real life, he saw no harm in the lie. The two began to flirt over the chat, which after some time escalated into a full-blown internet romance. As their online courtship progressed, Jessie began to send Thomas months.
I mean, being honest, we grown here, but shit. What else we saying? Oh, hey, you look nice. Hey, you going that long? Stop playing. Like, shit. Send me a titty or something. Stop playing.
Some time escalated into a full-blown internet romance. As their online courtship progressed, Jessie began to send Thomas photos of herself, which became progressively more provocative. Thomas returned with photos of himself from 30 years earlier, ones where he was almost unrecognizable to how he looked now.
Bro.
The relationship soon went beyond the chat room, and the two started to talk on the phone, trading love letters and gifts. And all the while, Thomas knew that he was lying to Jessie, but the relationship had become completely consuming for Thomas, which he later described as more real to me than real life.
Yup.
It was like a...
Never lie so. You be telling lies so long, you legit be believing them mugs, dog. That's one of the many reasons I love mirrors. Like, you always ask me about my mirror. It ain't to be all, cause he like, damn, I got a haircut against it. No, it ain't like that. Legit, I love it because I do love to look in the mirror and reflect. We already had this debate on my conspiracy videos. But I legit like to talk to myself in that mug. I do talk to myself, dog. Gotta reflect on my own bullshit sometimes. because this internet will grab you. I'm on this internet every day. I ain't gonna cap to you. I'm on here every day. You damn near can't escape it at this point when you're going down that road. But man, sometimes it's good to just have a little reality check. Like, bro, you legit taking yourself back to being your younger self. Stop playing.
Described as more real to me than real life. It was like a drug that I needed every day. Over the chat, Jesse wrote, "I love you always and forever, Tommy." With Thomas responding, "I've never felt this way." But the fantasy world of the internet can only stay separate from the real world for so long. Sometime in March 2006, one of Thomas's daughters used his computer just when Jesse messaged him.
I'm afraid I can't read fast enough to keep up with my work.
To stay focused on my work and save time, I use Speechify's free Chrome extension. It's easy. Just highlight the text, right-click, and then Speechify will read it out to me.
The event was also live-streamed to Disney-owned Hulu, plus ABC News Live.
You can adjust your listening speed based on what's most comfortable, and then choose the soothing voice you want to hear, helping you stay focused and
You got like some good ASMR voice. Oh shit, this the ad. I'm tripping. We hear about this. All right, back to the video. My bad. That's pretty dope.
For so long. Sometime in March 2006, one of Thomas's daughters used his computer just when Jesse messaged him. Startled by what she read, she immediately told her mother, Cindy, who then went through Thomas's computer and found all of the pair's messages, love letters, photos, and even a pair of red underwear that Jesse had sent Thomas. Enraged and hurt by the lies and deceit of her husband, Cindy took matters into her own hands and messaged Jesse back. She sent a photo of their family and wrote, "Let me introduce you to these people. The man in the center is Tom, my husband since 1989. He is 46 years old. Do not trust words on a computer. Let this go.
She ain't lying.
You will only be hurt by a man who had mastered the art of manipulation and lies." Jesse responded with horror, texting Thomas and telling him that she hated him and that he should be put in jail for what he had done. But the saga didn't end there. Dealing with her own heartbreak,
do not respond out of fucking anger, man. You should have went at your husband. I don't know where this is about to go, but I feel like my bad. I mean, don't react out of anger. Damn, and I know she was hella pissed in that. I'd have been hella pissed. That's one of the things that scares me about marriage. Congratulations if it's going good. I'm not trying to jinx anyone, but basically, what scares me is being with someone for so long. Like, will that other person really still freaking love you? I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm legit asking. Like, bro, this not even asking. This is my view on it. I'm always willing to hear new ideas, but that's what scares me. It's like you get to a point where it's like, man, at least I feel like, me personally speaking, I feel like I get to a point where it's like, dog, I want some new, you know what? Or she might get to the point of like, I want some new, dog. When your body get feelings and get urges for shit, it's gonna keep craving it more and more, dog. Life is fucking. It's so much shit that I just don't get about life. Let's get back to the video, dog.
Hated him, and that he should be put in jail for what he had done. But the saga didn't end there. Dealing with her own heartbreak, Jessie went through denial, and she ended up tracking down one of Thomas's co-workers, 22-year-old college student and part-time machinist Brian Barrett. Over a chat room where Brian used the username Beefcake, Jessie asked him if what Thomas's wife had told her was true. It wasn't long before Jessie and Brian started an affair of their own, sparking enormous jealousy in Thomas, who watched their flirting over the chat room and heard about it from co-workers in real life. As he grew angrier about Jessie's new love, Thomas messaged her saying that Brian will pay in blood, and calling her a variety of offensive names. To retaliate, both Jesse and Brian told everyone on the forums his true age. Yet during all of this, Jesse appeared torn between her first romance and her new relationship with Brian. Frequently, she would message Thomas to tell him that she missed him and that she wished they could be together. Now that Jesse knew about his family and his real age, Thomas felt like he had hit the jackpot and that an attractive young girl liked him for who he really was. Even though the two seemed to rekindle their romance, Jesse once again called it off. After some time, she began talking to Brian again, and this time Thomas's jealousy at Jesse's betrayal turned into something even darker.
Damn.
With Thomas out of the picture, Brian and Jesse's romance flourished, and the two decided to meet in person for the first time.
Oh.
Brian planned to drive to West Virginia, but Jesse texted him at the last moment to cancel. Somehow, Thomas learned about the couple's plan, and his rage at the rejection drove him mad. Just as Brian was leaving work on September 15th, 2000.
You got that "you gonna hate me" text? I know that was, hey, you gonna hate me, but stop playing, dog. I know them texts, dog. You be already about halfway there and shit. You got hella rubbers in the car. I ain't gonna lie, though. I'm like blaming everybody right now. But like you said, the insane twist. So let's let it finish. Blah.
For the first time. Brian planned to drive to West Virginia, but Jesse texted him at the last moment to cancel. Somehow, Thomas learned about the couple's plan, and his rage at the rejection drove him mad. Just as Brian was leaving work on September 15th, 2006, Thomas sought his revenge against the man he believed had stolen his love from him.
Damn.
Brian was found dead in the parking lot where both men worked, with 3 bullet wounds from a military rifle.
Damn.
During the ensuing investigation, Thomas and Brian's co-workers told police about the internet love triangle. The police worried that if Thomas was capable of killing Brian, that he might also hurt Jesse. But when they tracked her down to see if she was all right, they discovered a shocking secret. When police arrived at Jesse's address, a woman named Mary Schuyler opened the door. Under the pressure of police questioning, 45-year-old Mary revealed a tangled web of deception and lies. She was Jesse.
Oh, I was gonna say they both
The
was
program
Captain.
has equipped me with all of the skills.
No, it did. Hold up. Stop playing. Look, dog. Stop playing. Look. At the beginning, I was gonna say, what if they both two older people on their capping though? But I was like, I don't want to be assuming too much ish because right now, right at that moment, I was really thinking like it's actually a man or somebody like basically a fake account type of ish, whatever. Oh shit, hold up.
And lies. She was Jesse.
Damn.
Mary had been catfishing both Brian
That's
and
bull.
Thomas, just as Thomas had done with her. The photos she used to create her fake online profile
daughter.
were of Mary's own real daughter.
I remember the
Jessie.
story now.
The real Jessie had no idea that her mother had taken the pictures of her, never mind was using them to talk to men online.
What the
Though Mary had never intended that Thomas would kill Brian over her online romances, she had played with both men's feelings.
I was to say when I was my bad, when I was like, she's stringing him along, keep every now and then hit you with the, oh, I miss you. You ain't got to do that. If you're going to move on, just move on. I do remember this story. And the crazy part is you doing that with your daughter. Your daughter the whole time out here walking around living her life, don't even know this going on. Like, and it's some grown ass man thinking he in love, thinking you in love with him. Come on, dog.
Brian over her online romances. She had played with both men's feelings, knowing that she was lying the entire time. What's more, it is reported that Mary had a husband of her own, who divorced her shortly after she confessed her secret plot to the police. Thomas was initially charged with second-degree murder. He pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of first-degree manslaughter and received a 20-year sentence. Prosecutors attempted to charge Mary with something for her role in the tragic and deadly love triangle. as many believed she had provoked Thomas into his jealous rage, all for a fake online relationship. But she hadn't technically done anything illegal, and so she was never charged.
Damn.
Mary has only spoken publicly once about what she had done, saying, "I just never thought it would go anywhere, that it would end, fall off, and that would be the end of it." Reportedly, Mary never apologized for her actions, not even to her daughter, who has since cut off contact with her.
What?
This shocking story was depicted in a documentary in 2009 and in the 2012 film Tall Hot Blonde.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to watch that.
In 2007, Ron Williamson met 83-year-old retired Air Force General Jack Rains while at a flea market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Jack had retired from the U.S. Air Force after 32 years of service, after which he worked as the Woodbury's police chief and as a state trooper. Though he lived with his wife at a nursing home, Jack became friendly with the entire Williamson family. For over 4 years, he was frequently invited to their family gatherings.
My bad. Let me go back, bro. I'm thinking about something else. I'll think about something else. I love how like when people tell horror stories and shit. Most of them got like some dope ass voices though. I'm like, damn, bro, putting me to sleep. This is like some ASMR. I love ASMR, by the way, if you couldn't tell. But I'm like, man, this is good. Go back. I ain't paying attention to nothing. All right, Jack Rains, come on.
Jack had retired from the U.S. Air Force after 32 years of service, after which he worked as the Woodbury's police chief and as a state trooper. Though he lived with his wife at a nursing home, Jack became friendly with the entire Williamson family. For over 4 years, he was frequently invited to their family gatherings during holidays, spent time with Ron's children, and went to cookouts at their house. Ron's wife, 39-year-old Tina, especially hit it off with Jack, and the two became instant friends. Tina and Jack eventually went into business together, where they bought and sold used cars. Because of their work together, the two opened a joint checking account. Jack and Tina spent large amounts of time together and grew incredibly close. On August 31st, Tina was picked up at her home by Jack, and the two went for breakfast together and ran some errands before he once again dropped her off. The next day, on September 1st, Ron and Tina went to visit Jack at his home. As soon as they arrived, they realized something was off. They had a key to the house and let themselves in. Inside, they found Jack dead, sitting at his kitchen table in his underwear and undershirt. Ron reported the murder to the police, telling them that it looked like there had been a robbery. It was uncovered that Jack had likely died the day before he was found, on August 31st. Jack had been shot multiple times, including 5 gunshot wounds directly to the back of his head. Investigators soon realized that the crime scene had been staged to resemble a robbery, but there was no evidence of a forced entry, and many valuable items were still in the house. Police soon had a suspect in mind for the gruesome and shocking murder, Tina. She was arrested on December 4th. The police were alerted to her as a suspect because of her strange behavior after Jack's death, especially considering how close the two of them had been. Tina was arrested on the basis that she owned a gun that matched the bullets used to kill Jack, but there was no physical evidence such as fingerprints to tie Tina to the crime scene. However, just before her arrest, a witness came forward with evidence of their own. Betty Olson, Tina's close friend, had been contacted by detectives when they saw that she had been called by Tina following the time that Jack had died. She told detectives that on August 31st, she picked Tina up a block away from where Jack lived.
Oh, shit. Ad coming. Soon it was like when the business together part, I knew it.
She picked Tina up a block away from where Jack lived. The investigators had Olson contact Tina so that they could secretly record their interactions. In the recordings, Tina told Olson not to tell the police about giving her a ride, and that she was worried about her location being pinpointed by her cell phone. Tina also revealed that she was glad that the detectives who spoke to her hadn't discovered the $4,600 cash that she had in her purse at the time. Tina also told Olsen that if she had killed someone, Tina would cover for her.
What?
These recordings and Olsen's eyewitness testimony were used to paint a picture of Tina as a heartless murderer during her trial, but her defense claimed that she had no motive to kill Jack. Evidence soon arose that on the day that he died, Jack took out $489 from their shared account, and then, later the same day, Tina took out $1,500 before she deposited $1,900 in her own bank account. Not only that, but Jack also had left Tina $100,000, which she cashed out only a week after he died. One bank employee said that they had observed Tina shaking uncontrollably. Tina later stated that the money he left her wasn't for her to go and spend, but to be set aside in case he wasn't able to care for himself because he was in
Oh, no, my bad. I thought I heard my dough.
but to be set aside in case he wasn't able to care for himself because he was in his 80s. Tina claimed that Jack intended her to be the one to ensure he was cared for, though he had a living wife and son at the time of his death. After searching Tina and Ron's house, many of Jack's possessions were discovered, including his military records, his blank checks, and the title to his car in the joint checkbook he shared with Tina, which had a spot of blood on it. However, it was during the trial that a shocking twist was asserted. The prosecution alleged that Tina and Jack's relationship went beyond their business together, and that the two had become romantically involved, despite the 45-year age difference between them. Addressing the claim, Tina said, "I loved him as anyone would their grandpa. He was part of our family." Tina continually denied ever having an affair with Jack, but DNA evidence seemed to prove otherwise. Jack's underwear contained traces of Tina's DNA, which implied that their relationship was much more intimate than she ever admitted. Furthermore, a witness, Jerry Kirby, came forward and said that he had seen Tina hug and kiss Jack on the mouth. He said, "I thought it was awfully funny, an older man like that." Another witness, Jack Simon, said that Jack called Tina his girlfriend. Tina claims that she is innocent, that she was never in a relationship with Jack. Despite this, in December of 2007, Tina was convicted by a jury for second-degree murder, felony murder, a murder committed during another crime, and aggravated robbery. As the judge read her sentence, which was life plus 20 years, totaling a whopping 71 years in prison, Tina reportedly collapsed and hit her head against the floor of the courtroom. In the year 2065, Tina will be able to seek parole, making her 96 years old at the time she could be released. Our next case for you is
That one, it didn't really shock. I mean, the twist didn't really shock me. It was like one of the ones you kind of saw this ish coming, dog. Other dope, but I gotta stop it so I can resync it real quick anyway, though.
Released. Our next case for you is about Police Lieutenant Charles Joseph Glenowitz. Charles was a married father of 4 in Fox Lake, Illinois. The 52-year-old was incredibly popular in his community and went by the nickname G.I. Joe. He was described as a tattooed and caring role model for many young people in the community who wanted to go into law enforcement. His youth mentorship program was called the Explorers Program.
Hey, do you ever walk into a room and completely forget why you're there?
All the time, dog.
Totally.
As a tattooed and caring role model for many young people in the community who wanted to go into law enforcement. His youth mentorship program was called the Explorers Program. On September 1st, 2015, at 7:52 a.m., Charles radioed his dispatch that he was in pursuit of 3 men at an abandoned cement plant in Fox Lake. He requested backup, which arrived at 8:09. The responding officers discovered Charles's dead body in a marsh 50 yards from his vehicle. He had been shot twice, one bullet piercing his cell phone and ballistic vest, with the second hitting him in the upper chest, which likely killed him. There were also bruises and scrapes on his head, which looked like he had been in a struggle. It was believed that he had been murdered by the 3 unknown attackers. The officers searched the swampy area and found Charles's radio, taser, and pepper spray all spread through the marsh. But his gun wasn't uncovered until over an hour later, though it was only 3 feet from his body. Through an autopsy, it was later discovered that the murder weapon used to kill Charles was his own .40 caliber semi-automatic handgun. Following Charles's death, an enormous manhunt began to find and apprehend the men who had killed such a beloved and respected officer. Over 400 officers and volunteers were part of the search on foot, in cars, helicopters, on horseback, and operating drones. Charles's case gained national attention, and the ATF and FBI became involved. The first lead came the day following Charles's death, when a woman...
Man, with these stories, I ain't gonna lie, man. It be so many people you be wanting to blame. The thing that's holding me back from what I'm really feeling is because I know these are stories with insane twists. So meaning it's gonna the possibility of who I'm thinking is gonna be like beyond different at the end.
The first lead came the day following Charles's death, when a woman named Kristen Kiefer called to tell officers that while she was on the side of the road in Volo, Illinois, she had been approached by 2 men from a cornfield. She said that the men tried to steal her car, and she escaped by running away. Roadblocks, the K-9 unit, and 3 air units totaling almost 100 officers were set up to find the men. After days of searching, Kiefer admitted that she had lied about the entire story, and she was promptly arrested and charged with 2 counts of disorderly conduct for falsifying a police report. Fox Lake held a vigil for Charles, where his grieving family spoke and thanked everyone for their determination to catch Charles's killers. The following day, the Chicago Bears played a tribute to Charles. The Illinois governor, Bruce Rauner, had all of the state's flags lowered to half-staff to honor Charles. His funeral was attended by thousands from across the country, many of whom were other officers. The procession spanned 18 miles long, and thousands of viewers took to the streets to watch. After so much publicity following Charles's death, those tasked to find his killers were more determined than ever. Over 125 officers were on the case for multiple weeks, working for almost 25,000 hours. However, not everyone was convinced by the story that 3 men had overpowered.
Because what I'm thinking is, because right now we don't have anybody really, as far as in the story in his life that we know about, except this group. So I just want to know a little bit about this group. I don't know what's going on. I gotta wait to the end of the video. I ain't that so Raven, man. I can't look, Pete. But were they kids? I don't remember.
Not everyone was convinced by the story that 3 men had overpowered and killed Charles. One man in particular took issue with how the evidence of the crime scene was being interpreted. Joseph Battaglia, a former Chicago officer, took it upon himself to start contacting police agencies and the media to tell them that he thought Charles intentionally shot himself. After 2 months of continuing investigation, a shocking twist was revealed.
You have made my life
But
10 times
a few times to the back of the head? How?
Charles hadn't been murdered at all. Instead, he had staged an elaborate crime scene to make it look as though he had died in the line of duty, to cover up the fact that he had shot himself twice. But this was just the beginning of the shocking revelations. Charles had been embezzling tens of thousands of dollars from the Fox Lake Police Explorer program. He had used the money to pay for his own mortgage, travel, gym memberships, and subscriptions to adult websites. He also used the money to stockpile military gear, including Kevlar helmets, radios, gas masks, and hundreds of gun belts. But that's not all. Disturbing occurrences were uncovered involving harassment, suspensions, alcohol abuse, and an incident where Charles threatened an emergency dispatcher with a gun. Eventually, over 6,500 text messages that Charles had deleted were recovered, which showed that he had intended to take out a village administrator named Anne Marin, who had started an audit of his Explorers program. Her audit would have uncovered his embezzling. Allegedly, Charles had even contacted a prominent gang member to kill Marin for him. Small packages of cocaine were found in his desk, which investigators believe he had used to attempt to frame Marin as a drug criminal before she could expose him. Marin later commented, "When I heard he was concerned that I was asking tough questions about the Explorer program, it only confirmed to me that asking the tough questions was the absolute right thing to do." However, she has shared that she had no idea about his sinister plot and the extreme lengths he was planning to go to in order to get rid of her. When Charles believed that his crimes were about to be brought to light, he faked his own murder in the hopes to keep it all a secret. All tributes to Charles were removed, and his wife Melody was taken to court over money laundering. Though she pled not guilty, her trial is still pending in 2021. The public's outpouring of grief over Charles's death quickly turned to horror at his betrayal. The task force commander in charge of the bizarre investigation has lamented, "Glenowitz committed the ultimate betrayal. This is my first time as a law enforcement officer in my career that I felt ashamed by the acts of another police officer."
Oh, it is?
In the end, it is reported that the first 3 weeks of this wild goose chase alone cost taxpayers more than $300,000 to pay law enforcement working on the case. Much of this substantial cost stemming from overtime. Charles's memory went from being a celebrated hero to a criminal. A sign with his picture.
Yeah, because the whole time I'm thinking like, oh, that's what's up, you know what I'm saying? He did what he had to do, lived his life, became somebody, now he the OG in the neighborhood, whatever. Hell no.
From being a celebrated hero to a criminal. A sign with his picture was defaced with the words, "Forgotten, lied, stole, disgraced." Each of these 3 shocking cases show that there's always another layer to every story.
Yup.
Even if it can seem unbelievable.
It's like, I think Usher said it. Someone said it, and I was like, I like that. That's the truth. It was like, it's your side. Then he was like, there's three sides to each story. Block in English. There's 3 sides to each story. There's your side, there's their side, and then there's the truth. I think he said, I don't remember who said it, but I just remember hearing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that, because that is so freaking true, dog. But stories, it's kind of like, you know that game that you play when you in elementary, whatever, like you say something, and you pass it down, ooh, like, and by the time it gets to the last person, it's totally something different, whatever. Like, that's how a lot of things is, like, because even I do it. I'm human. We all do it. When I'm really upset, let's say we arguing, boom, 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 about something, and it's just going on. Especially if you want to hold grudges, and it's just going on. it's gonna be so much more you're gonna be adding to that sort of juice it up that's probably not even really there, or shit you just fabricating like, oh, I'm about to make, oh yeah, then this happened, this like making it more juicier than what it is. But it's like whole time it's like, no, that's not what's going on. Or it could be layers that go in reverse, where it's like, oh yeah, you make it sound like it was nothing, but whole time it's like, no, you didn't tell this part, you covered up this part, but see, you tried to hide this part in the shadows. It was like, nah, this is actually what's going on. So that's why when I read this title, I already knew this one was about to be crazy. I was like, man, this one I'm not gonna be assuming crap, because I already know the ending gonna prove me hella wrong every time. That second one, like I said, it got me, but I understood where that, I knew it. I was like, this one, I already see where this one is going, dog. And a few times I was kind of getting lost, because I was like, oh, this dude put me to sleep. This is amazing. I love it. Only thing I need him to do is chew some gum. But I love people be chewing gum. I fall asleep. I don't know why, dog. Hey, look, video over. I gotta tell y'all story time since we on ASMR or whatever. I haven't told y'all story in a minute. Video over. You can leave if you want. Boom, story time. This is the first time I really fell in love with like some ASMR shit without knowing what it was. This was not when I looked it up. The story of me looking it up and finding it is even crazier. But either way it go. So this is the first time it affected me, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? All right, so I had to be like 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I was like dummy young. It was like when you young and you inside of Walmart. You know they have the games on the Nintendo 64, and it's all you gotta look up and break your neck and shit to play it, but you don't care because you want to play it. So you're sitting there playing it. So I'm sitting there like that playing it. I don't remember what I'm playing. I'm sitting there playing, and it's this one man. She like about a good 10 steps away from me, but she looking at something, and the whole time she's looking at something, she chewing like this, like. I can't do it, but insert like gum popping sounds. Like she's chewing gum, but she's popping back to back, like pop, 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 chew, 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 pop, pop, like that. I'm not reading my phone. I'm saying like she was looking at something. But either way, go. So as she's doing that, I'm playing the game. I'm like, oh man, why does this feel good? And my body is just like fucking getting weak and like just light. And I'm just falling asleep, like. And I'm playing the game, knocked out. Next thing I know, I heard my mom was like, peekaboo. And that's my nickname. She's like, peekaboo. And I was like, and I woke up, huh? She's like, boy, what you sleep? You tired? I was like, oh no, I was playing the game. She's like, boy, come on, let's go, whatever. But that was the first time it hit me. And I was like, dog, what was that? And every time I from that day, like forever in my life, and I hear people smack, as long as they're not my family. This is weird, I know. As long as I hear people smacking or eat, a lot of people hate it. It puts me to sleep, dog. Like when people just be around me chewing gum, especially when they look, this shit about to get so weird, dog. Don't judge me. I have a type, especially when they be breathing hard and you know, like them aunties and shit. I'm like, oh boy, this feel good. Like auntie big ass already eating this goddamn ham hock, put me to sleep. Man, it's weird, dude. It's not like I have a fetish, like it be turning me on. It's just legit. My body loves it. Like seeing these people eat, I be passing out. But I'm like, oh, this feels amazing. But it's weird. I know, though. I can't help it. Hey, but I'm about to go ahead and get up out of here. This was crazy. Damn, these were some crazy twists. When you enjoyed the video, though, click that like button. If you hear all the way up until this point, look, I'm rocking with you. You rocking with me because you know I talk a lot. So we here. I was trying my hardest to not talk a lot in this video. Because I want to, like I say, want to assume too much. But go ahead, click that sub button. I see the analytics. Y'all keep coming back, watching, come back. Click the sub. Turn on that bell. When you do that, YouTube, I'm telling you, they gonna be like, all right, you really rocking with bro. We're gonna go ahead and push bro out a little more. Then we just be chilling, watching like scary and look, you know what? Look, I'm out.